Hey everyone, it's Matt here. I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend, an amazing Sunday, of course. I know you guys are hyped. I sure am hyped. If you clicked on this video, especially a few minutes after it was posted, I can say that you are definitely hyped for the upcoming expansion pack for The Sims 4, Growing Together. We've learned so much from the deep dive live stream that occurred on Friday. There was a bunch of brand new information in a video I uploaded yesterday from the Twitter Q&A from the gurus, and now we have even more information. Lots of topics to be discussed today, guys. We have information on sleeping bags. We have some behind the scenes info from Sim Guru Doi. We have brand new looks at an upcoming bassinet coming to the game, and more to talk about in terms of infant and toddler quirks. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the tweets. We kick things off here with Sim Guru Morgan. We have Simmers on Twitter, more specifically Fable Simmer, asking if infants are playable. Sim Guru Morgan confirms that with just base game, you can do any of the infant interactions with them right away. So there is no actually having to unlock things as you play or progress in your save, that you will have everything unlocked right away. And also with the Growing Together pack, you're spot on about the developmental unlocks. But I think there's a lot you can do with them from their perspectives. This was honestly exactly what I was expecting, as a lot of what they showed with the Growing Together expansion seemed like things you have to play to discover. And I talked about this a little bit in yesterday's video, you know, with milestones and all of that stuff. The more you play, the more you unlock. But if you do not plan on picking up Growing Together and just want to have the infants with the base game, the new interactions that you do get with them, you will not have to worry about unlocking or discovering anything. Sim Guru Morgan also confirms in this thread here that infants are a little too young to have skills. In Growing Together, they actually have to unlock a lot of movement-based milestones before they can crawl, and one is actually called Creep. So again, for clarification, the infants do crawl in base game, but Growing Together has them sort of ramp up to all that they can do in base game as they unlock milestones. We wanted there to be plenty to do with infants if you just have base game. So basically the pack is expanding on the infants. It's not really adding any fundamental things for the infants, just building on what's kind of there from base game. During the live stream, we could see that you can click on the infants and see their motives and moodlets and all of that stuff, but we never actually got to see if you can actually fully control them and assign them interactions. But Sim Guru Morgan confirms here that you 100% can play with infants. I don't think any changes are coming to babies though. They will probably remain unclickable, as during the live stream, I remember them hovering over a baby and there was no option to click on said baby. Newborns are getting an overhaul, which is amazing. They talked about that on the stream. We're getting more skin tones. And this has been something that has been long requested. For those wondering about the new playpen fences that you saw outdoors, Sim Guru Morgan confirms here that you can place them indoors. Super exciting, so you can make your own custom playpen. I talked about this on the live stream, how the milestones really feels like an advanced memory system. Definitely a lot better than the current memory system that we have in The Sims 4, which, by the way, in case you didn't know, we actually do have a memory system in The Sims 4, but it's kind of hidden actually. It's hidden in the screenshot manager. Sim Guru Morgan kind of talks a little more on this in response to a Twitter user tweeting, "So are milestones like memories?" Sim Guru Morgan tweets, "Personally, I think they are, but amped up. Not only do they track special moments, but for infants, they unlock interactions. They sometimes give physical rewards like a marriage certificate, and for some, your Sims remember where things happened and it'll affect their mood." So it literally is a memory system. And like I've mentioned before, this gives them so many more opportunities to expand and grow this to not just other life stages, but also other packs, and maybe even someday to the base game, so that they can fully implement a proper fully fledged out memory system for everyone for free. I think we are definitely owed that. I mean, we have the scrapbooking feature from The Sims 3. In The Sims 2, the memory panel is freaking awesome, and this reminds me a lot of it, seeing those little icons and such. And they could definitely expand on that and make that even better. You know, seeing what they're doing here with infants with unlocking interactions as you reach milestones. One Twitter user asking, will toddler quirks be randomly assigned or developed based on gameplay? And SimGuru Morgan quotes this with 3 separate responses. All infants and toddlers have them when they grow into that age. It's more so a matter of discovering the quirks they already have. It'll sometimes happen naturally or through specific interactions with them, and sometimes might require them to have reached certain milestones. I love that. I think that that is so cool. Already having these quirks, but having to discover them. That's literally realistic. SimGuru Morgan provides some examples. As an example, you might not discover your infant likes sounds unless you give them the tools to play with sounds. The new base game sensory toys, radio, etc., or that your toddler hates being held until you pick them up to take them somewhere else. And then in that moment, you'll find out your toddler hates being held. You have to do the action to find out if they like or dislike said action. Again, very realistic. This is how parents in real life discover what their kids do and don't like, and how kids themselves discover what they do and don't like. I definitely much prefer this than rather aging up and then it just show you everything and you know instantly. Like, you have to discover these things over time. And of course, Morgan adds, but an infant who is a free air tinkler is probably going to use the bathroom while you're changing them, and a toddler who is aggressive will probably act out on their own. It's fun discovering them. The cheat is also available if you want to set your own for story. So there's options. If you want to really force a certain path for your save file, that option is given to you. But if you don't and you just want things to play out kind of out of randomness or chance and discovering it on your own, then that option is there for you, which I think is very important to have with this game. After all, this is a life simulator, and I feel like for a very long time, the simulation aspect of things has definitely lacked in many departments. Skyle on Twitter asks, can toddlers still eat infant foods? Which Morgan responds, you can feed these foods to infants and because they are meant for infants, but I have had my toddler walk up and swipe the finger foods from my infant and eat it. Some toddlers are wild, so I'm guessing this confirms that toddlers can still in fact eat infant foods with this. Not really a direct confirmation of yes, but kind of implying yes. Going back to the conversation on quirks, one user kind of expresses some concerns that sounds like it could easily screw up players' plans or really complement them. Not sure how I feel about that in regards to how infant and toddler quirks are kind of just there and you have to discover them as you play. SimGuru Morgan responds to this, when you add a new quirk through the cheat, you'll still need to discover it. So you aren't missing out on the discovery gameplay. It just won't be a surprise anymore. But we really wanted players to have the tools to tell their own story if they didn't like the randomness. Again, options are important because this is a simulation game and I guess technically a sandbox game. Everyone's going to be playing it differently. Everyone's going to have a different approach to how they're telling their story, and they gave us options. Those that like randomness have it, and those that want more direct manipulation have that. Of course, the question then comes into play, how about removing said quirks for infants or toddlers? And SimGuru Morgan responds, yes, there is an option to remove individual ones or all of them at once for ease. You can do this anytime or as many times as you like, so no cooldown period, no limits. You have the freedom for this, and that is just amazing. Again, more cross-pack compatibility, not really too much in terms of specifics, as one user is asking about Parenthood and Milestones for that. Oh, I would love to see lots of integration with Parenthood. I feel like it fits perfectly with Growing Together. And of course, the new Infants update. But SimGuru Morgan tweets, I don't know if there are milestones specifically from Parenthood or not, but there are a ton from other expansions. I do know we did a lot of cross-pack compatibility, which we saw during the stream and learned from a lot of the other Q&As, but there are various features in connection with Parenthood. So I can't wait to see exactly what that is going to bring to the gameplay. You could see during the live stream there was a choose feeding preference, which some users are asking, is this part of the base game update or with Growing Together? And SimGuru Morgan confirms that the feeding preference is part of the base game, which I expected, but of course, clarification here for those that were wondering. Ooh, this one is a really good question. Will there be infinite milestones like the Sims 2 memories, or does each sim only have a limited number of milestones they can earn? I'm talking about space in the UI. Will it be enough for many, many milestones? And Simguru Morgan does answer this. There is an open up button to the UI to see them all if you don't have space in the Simology panel, which is probably what the 3 dots were down in that Simology panel if you didn't notice. There isn't a limit on how many you can get, so unlimited, guys, unlimited. And also, I just cannot wait to see what mod creators also do with this as well. And also them creating milestones too, not just changing and modifying the ones that are coming with this pack and probably with other packs with cross-pack integration, but creating whole new milestones that you can earn as well. Oh my gosh, guys, the possibilities are going to be endless with what modders do for this game now that the Sims team has virtually unlocked a whole new level in terms of simulation. Like, this is what it feels like. I feel like we're finally just having access to a whole different kind of gameplay now with this milestones system. More clarification here from Sim Guru Morgan. The Pi menu update is coming to base game, but more details on it. Sim Guru Morgan confirms, yes, the preferences for conversation topics connected with it is growing together though, but the Pi menu UI is a base game update. So if you update your game and get the pack, you're going to get all of what you saw on the live stream. Remember back in one of my previous Twitter Q&A videos where Sim Guru Nova was kind of hinting at more in terms of water related news? I was talking about hopefully having lots like how we have in Sulani, half water, half land. Unfortunately, nothing that spectacular, but we now have a response on this. Sim Guru Nova was actually referencing the swimmable area in the world, which is awesome. So I remember they had a little segment where they show that you could swim and it was a gorgeous little area. All right, guys, we are on to Sim Guru Ninja back sharing more looks, not just at the world, but of Mr. Whalebert, which we did get a little look at during the live stream. And of course, previously with, you know, images and clips from Sim Guru Ninja on Twitter, but now another look here at a giant oversized Whalebert in San Sequoia. And of course, a beautiful look at the world itself with the bridge in the background, lots of buildings, likely shell buildings, roads, and trees. You just gotta see how big Whalebert is in comparison to all of the surrounding landmarks. It's very, very creepy, I must say. All right, guys, on to some behind the scenes and hopefully some lore. I haven't read this yet, but I saved it in the bookmarks because I know that you guys might be interested in it. One of my new favorite Sim Guru personalities creating a thread here on Twitter. I finally recovered after our marathon stream yesterday. It seems y'all liked it, and while I enjoyed ranting about why Moonwood Mill and San Sequoia are perfect world names, I figured a little behind the scenes context on how we go about naming worlds could be fun. Oh, cool. Okay, so if that's where we're going, I am more than interested. Our design, production, concept, and environment teams start planning the general look, environment, and story of a world early on. We think about gameplay that could tie to the world, the pre-mades that would live there, lot layout, surrounding environment, all that good stuff. One thing we don't decide until much, much later, the world name. We don't want to design a world around a name, but rather fit a good name to the world that we've already designed, and that makes a lot of sense. So when we gather together as a team to consider world names, we are trying to fit it to a number of factors, along with trying to make sure we like the sound of it, that it feels unique among our existing world names, but also sounds like it fits in The Sims 4. We think about a lot, maybe too much, like the connotations of the name, the history of the places that inspire the world, possible translations, words they sound like, personal preference. I think it is a legitimate concern that we not make worlds in a confusing way or such that they feel more like inside jokes than proper names, which is why I think some of the back and forth on Moonwood Mill and San Sequoia was really useful. For those two worlds, I think we arrived in the right place. We looked at abandoned, secluded mill towns that seemed like good werewolf hangouts, or at how the Bay Area's flora has transformed over time and how local places are still named after trees that are no longer there. Anyway, this is all to say, while there was certainly some truth to my bit on world naming on the stream, Chair Village ahoy. No, there's probably going to be no Chair Village coming, so you guys can go ahead and put your hands down now. we're gonna get that question out of the way. I really do appreciate the thought and intention we put into all the work due. We will sometimes still make mistakes, but we continue to do our best. And that's a great thread, definitely a good insight behind what they do, why they do it, and the process that goes into kind of sculpting how a world is made. Very, very interesting read. All right, coming down on some of the important bits coming in today, just this afternoon, fresh hot off the press, we have a look at the sleeping bags, and these things are adorable, guys. Look at this. We've got a fox, we've got a raccoon, we've got a dog or a wolf, a frog, and a pig. Simguru Morgan tweeting, if you want to talk about cute new objects and growing together, this is one of the Slumber Party rewards objects. It's an animal-themed sleeping bag for toddlers. Oh, this is so freaking adorable. Simguru Morgan also follows this up here. Don't worry, there is also a basic toddler sleeping bag that isn't a reward. You can get directly from Build by Anytime with 7 different color swatches. Look at the bee. That is so cute, guys. This is adorable. You guys gotta let me know what you think about the sleeping bags. I love when they do cute little stuff like this. It's gonna be so fun to actually go through and review all the objects and look at all the swatches. Up next, quoting a tweet asking about baby showers, Simguru Morgan tweets, how about that there is a new bassinet as a reward item for a gold baby shower event. So, completing it, look what you unlock. Beautiful, gorgeous bassinet with 12 different swatches, so lots to choose from here. One user on Twitter tweets, am I dreaming or are these railings on one side of the stairs when we all know that the railings will clip through a wall to appear on both sides? Simguru Morgan actually addresses this tweet. I think there is a partial fix for this with the patch where it still happens in some cases but is better overall, as you're seeing here. We're still working on getting it to work exactly as desired. It's a tricky one, so they're probably going to update this more in the future, maybe with a future patch, but I guess this is a good sign and a good note that more improvements could be coming in terms of this. And lastly, Simguru Morgan confirms that yes, sleeping bags can be put in your inventory to be taken with you when your Sims do go on vacation. Share your thoughts down below of all the tweets we talked about today, all the brand new little details, looks at the sleeping bags, some of the BTS info about the worlds, and more. I love you guys. Of course, if there's any more, I will be back as soon as possible. You'll probably be hearing from me again tomorrow with some more information. That's given the gurus continue to sound off online. I love you guys. Take care. So long and happy simming.